Hey guys, welcome back. Before we go into today's episode, I'd quickly like to mention something that was told to me in the comments section from the Hypoxia episode. Nick Landman, my first ever commenter and subscriber. Thank you, Nick Landman. I will remember you forever. He mentioned something very interesting, saying that he thought it took the air traffic controller way too long to identify hypoxia in the pilots. Now the fact is, he's right, because the controller never did identify it. It was one of his colleagues who did, only after a very long time. This raises an interesting point, because does it mean that we should train controllers better to identify hypoxia? It makes sense, since, you know, the controllers don't have their mental faculties distorted because of hypoxia. And also, they're on the ground, so they're not in a stressful situation. They can think clearer than a pilot can. Okay, today's episode, we're going to talk about a very famous incident. It's also a very sad incident. It's the crash of the L-19 Cessna in the mountainous regions of Colorado, USA. What happened is, in 1984, a pilot took his friend on a mountain survey he was doing, camcorder on the dashboard, and that was to record any beetle infestations he saw in the mountains. The full video is 7 minutes long. There's a shortened video that I'm about to show you now, and just have a look.
Hang on, Ronnie!
Before we go into this, just remember these guys died, so we've just watched and listened to the last moments of these two men, and even heard some of the last words, so let's be a bit respectful here. So what happened is that the pilot realized he was going into the canyon wall. He tried to do an evasive maneuver, a 60-degree turn, stalled 3 times. The third time the plane spun, inverted, and crashed in the trees. Both occupants died. The wreckage wasn't found until 3 years later, and the tape was then found along with it, being exposed to the environment for 3 years, like just the precipitation and whatnot of the Colorado mountains. So it's quite impressive that the NTSB managed to repair it to that quality. NTSB have said that the cause of the crash was poor pilot decision, and a factor would definitely be high density altitude. The aircraft was at 10,200 feet ASL, but density altitude was 13,000 feet. That's above its surface ceiling, meaning it can climb at a maximum rate of 100 feet per minute. Now, my personal opinion is that this is a lesson to us all on several things. First of all, remembering the limitations of our own aircrafts. We have to know what our aircrafts are capable of, because even though it's in the owner's manual, we have to be able to know them, because we just can't simply flick through the book while we're in mid-flight, especially if you're going through an emergency. Which then brings on to my second point. It's important to practice upset maneuver and emergency procedures, and maybe this pilot hadn't practiced them sometime recently or something along those lines, because he stalled and he kept on pulling back in the turn, which is just extremely dangerous. It's the complete opposite of what we're taught on day 1. You know, you stall, level, nose down, and that caused him to crash. He didn't accept the fact that he was going to crash. Maybe that would have been another point that he should have been able to realize at that point that he was going to crash and there was no helping it, and done a controlled crash where he would have taken longer to stop the aircraft, and the G factor wouldn't have been so strong to kill the two of them. Then again, it's happened so quickly, it's difficult to make that kind of decision in a second. Also, I don't know about this, but maybe he wasn't mountain flying rated. Some of the people on the comment section were saying he was from Texas. I don't know if that's true or not, but the point is, it's just so very important to have your mountain rating if you're flying in the mountains. I've flown in the mountains twice only, and it was with an instructor who had a mountain rating, and it's very different. I mean, there's a lot more to think about than just flying in the lowlands, flatlands, like most of us pilots do. That's it on my part. I've given you my opinion. As always, I could be wrong, there's going to be some things I probably am wrong, which is why I need you to give me my opinion. Doesn't matter if you're a professional pilot, a sim like fanatic, or you're just someone who's interested in aviation and would like to know more. Just give me your opinion, ask your questions, comments, video response, private message, or even on the Facebook page. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Ladies and gentlemen, leave a video response or comment. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the Web Pilot blog and the Mayday Talk Facebook page. Thank you very much and have a good flight.